Before we dive in, tell us where you're watching from, your city or country. Let's see how far this story travels. A shy new girl thought she'd found kindness when the school's most popular boys started flirting with her. Sweet messages, compliments, invitations, it all felt real. But behind the smiles hid a cruel setup. What happens when fake love turns into public humiliation? And one quiet girl decides to fight back? Her name was Lena, and she'd moved more times than she could count. New towns, new schools, new faces, each one colder than the last. At Crestwood High, the hallways buzzed with laughter that faded whenever she walked by. She kept her head down, her notebooks neat, her words few. Still, she wished, just once, to be noticed for something other than being the new girl. And soon she would be. Just not in the way she hoped. It started with small gestures. A smile from the basketball captain, a joke shared in class, a compliment about her art. Then came the friendly notes in her locker, the good morning texts, the sudden wave of attention she'd never known before. Lena tried not to believe it, but part of her wanted to. Maybe this school really was different. Maybe people could see past her quietness. Yet in the back of her mind, something whispered, "Why now? Why her?" She brushed it off, unaware that the answer would break her heart. The boys invited her to sit with them at lunch, to join their group chats, even to hang out after school. She laughed more, spoke louder, and finally felt like she belonged. Teachers noticed her confidence returning. Classmates began treating her differently, but behind the friendly faces were exchanged smirks and half-hidden whispers. When she left the table, their laughter followed. Screens glowed with unseen messages, jokes she'd never read. Lena saw none of it. She only saw what she'd always wanted, acceptance. And that blind hope was exactly what they counted on. 2 weeks before prom, Evan, the most popular boy in school, asked her the question she never expected. "Will you go with me?" Her heart nearly stopped. She said yes before she could think. Her mom helped her pick a dress, simple but perfect, soft blue, like the sky before rain. For once, Lena believed she was part of something beautiful. She didn't know that the stage had already been set, that every detail, every smile, was part of their trap. That night, everything would change. Prom night glowed with fairy lights and soft music. Lena stepped into the gym wearing her pale blue dress, her mother's silver earrings catching the light. Gasps followed. She looked beautiful, radiant, nervous. Evan met her at the entrance, offering his arm and a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. For a moment, it felt real. Then came the surprise. A limousine waited outside, cameras already rolling. "You're our queen tonight," someone said. She stepped in, heart fluttering, and froze. The seats were covered in syrup and feathers. Laughter erupted as the doors slammed. The car peeled off, live streaming every second. By the time it returned, her dress was ruined, her makeup streaked, and her trust completely shattered. The next morning, the whole school had seen it. The video had spread across every screen, her pain, her tears, her humiliation replayed for laughs. Some whispered apologies, others just stared. Teachers called it a prank gone wrong. The principal said boys will be boys. But Lena said nothing. She scrolled through comments, saved screenshots, and printed messages. Beneath her quietness was focus, not fury. She wasn't planning revenge. She was preparing evidence. The same silence they mocked would soon be the calm before a storm no one expected. Monday morning, Lena walked into school holding a thick folder. She went straight to the office, placed it on the desk, and said calmly, "My attorney will be in touch." Inside were names, timestamps, screenshots, and a legal notice signed by her mom's lawyer. By lunchtime, the whispers had shifted. The boys stopped laughing. Their parents arrived. Rumors of lawsuits and media calls spread like wildfire. For the first time, the hallways were silent when Lena passed. The investigation had begun, and the same crowd that watched her fall now watched her rise. Weeks later, the case hit the courthouse. Charges: harassment, defamation, and discrimination. Reporters filled the seats. The boys who once mocked her now stared at their shoes. Lena sat calmly, hands folded, her silence heavier than any accusation. Witnesses spoke. The judge listened. Every cruel message, every mocking video played on the screen. The room felt colder with each replay. For once, it wasn't her who trembled. Justice, slow and steady, had finally found its voice, and it sounded like hers. The verdict: Lena won. Scholarships revoked, suspensions issued, public apologies ordered. The school faced investigation for negligence. New anti-bullying policies were drafted that very month. Reporters called her the girl who changed Crestwood High. On the day the settlement was finalized, Lena wore the same soft blue dress, cleaned, repaired, and radiant again. What once symbolized shame now glowed with victory. She didn't just win a case. She reclaimed her story. Sometimes strength doesn't roar, it whispers. Lena never shouted, never sought revenge. She simply refused to vanish. Her story reminded everyone that silence isn't weakness. It's power waiting for the right moment. So, what will it take for schools to finally protect their students before it comes to this? How many more Lenas will it take to prove that dignity isn't optional? Tell us your city or country, and never forget her name.